All right, so Elliot Wave Sage, I'm going to go ahead and have some time. I want to do a live stream. I haven't had a live stream in a few weeks, so I thought it would be a good idea to see if anyone has some questions that may be online. And I'll start out with kind of my market overview. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Use this for your entertainment, education purposes only. So my last update, I talked about a squeeze and crash idea. I still think that's the scenario that is developing, squeeze and crash. And if you look, just if you're a chart pattern trader, these are good. These are good breakouts to trade, right? Like a cup, a handle, a breakout. So the chart pattern trader community is going to now start all going long on breakout trading. So that's gonna keep pushing it higher. They're just gonna go long because that's what they do. They YOLO calls. That there's some guy on the internet like I made 100 grand in 24 hours. You're gonna start seeing that. So everyone's gonna do that, but that's just breakout trading. If that's what's gonna start happening, and that will just keep pushing the squeeze higher as all that dumb money rushes in for the easy buck. In here you have a little bit of the same thing. So I do think there is more upside in the market coming. We have some breakouts. The Dow Jones, as you could see, it broke out of this massive consolidation and closed above the downtrend line. We should be retesting this high in December. We break that high, then it opens the door for these levels that I have shown and potentially all-time highs. And again, I understand the market doesn't deserve to do it. The fundamentals say it shouldn't do it. My logic and my brilliance says I know better than the market, but you got to trade what's in front of you, not what you wish it to be. You have to trade the chart that you're given, not what you think it should be doing, not what you hope it should be doing, not what your logic says. That's why people that are in Mensa and all these geniuses, they're not billionaires, right? Because the market is not logical; it's an emotional thing. That's why we have like Dogecoin worth billions. We have companies that don't make any money worth billions. It's because it's an emotional thing. Or like a Tesla, an automotive company overvalued. It's just because people will get the emotion and throw caution to the wind. And I think we're going to see that again play out in this kind of blow off top. And then, as you know, then there'll be a catastrophe later. But there will be a catastrophe. It's going to be a pretty tragic moment for a lot of investors that is on the horizon when this is all said and done. So we have to understand that emotion. But this is the other part of the emotional equation. The other piece of evidence that you need to be aware of, and I showed this, you have the daily wide open. So the daily cycle is reset. I warned you about that, and now it's wide open. So this is going to push the market higher, at least where you have these bands open. If you look at the monthly as well, it's starting to turn wide open as well. That is also something you need to think about. It's much easier for the market to crash if the monthly is overbought, and it isn't. The weekly, though, is still bearish. It's still overbought, so there is a chance of the weekly breaking down. That should be the final leg in the market lower. And what that would probably do to the monthly is have it come back and then create a divergence where we would make a lower low and then have a divergence, a bullish divergence on the monthly. That's how that's going to probably play out. The weekly, so the weekly's on borrowed time. This is the ticking time bomb in the market. At some point, this will reset down. But right now, the daily will be pulling it up, and the 4 hour. Let's take a look how the 4 hour. 4 hours still got a little bit more room to go. Probably a little bit more room on tech, but getting close for correction of this move here. But I still think the daily will keep it going higher. So again, this could probably play out something like a 1-2, something like that. So we should get a pullback soon, but it's not guaranteed. There's no guarantee in the market. the pullback may have already happened. You may have already missed the pullback. That may have been the pullback right here. We could already be in wave three, and that's how the market destroys traders. And it could be this. This could be the count. So you have to keep that in mind too. That seems like with the way we closed on Friday that I'm leaning toward even this being the most likely count for the market right now, and then we end. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. We're gonna have is gonna happen for now. But as you can see, we broke the high, and so we need to go higher. All right, so I'll take a look at some of your questions, but I mean, here's the thing. The Russell is lagging, but I do think it's got a bounce trade coming up into this area, so I think that's going to help the meme stock type trades pump, and the Dow Jones. So like I said, breakout. I think it's going to move at least back up to this area and retest this high here. We'll see it. So I believe more upside in the market. The dollar also is weak. It's about to may have another breakdown of a key technical level. It's struggling. If it breaks down, I'll draw this line here. There we go. If this pattern breaks down, we should drop down into this area. That would be bullish for the market. This would be bullish for the market and crypto if this happens. If this leg happens, this breakdown, where this is a WXY, it very well could do that. It could do something like that. So that's why you gotta be careful being too bearish. The market isn't ready quite yet for a crash, but trust me, it will happen. It's just not. It may not be the time, despite all our despite all logic and fundamentals and blah blah blah, debt ceiling and all that. It doesn't matter because the emotions. People want to make money. People see posts of people making money and they're not. So they're going to start going long now. They're going to start again YOLOing. Like a few days ago, they said billions of dollars came out of the market. 401ks were like pulling out of the market. They're probably looking like idiots right now. Why the hell did I do that? Why did I do that? So they're all going to pile back in this next week coming up. That's what's going to happen. They'll be like, well, I was such an idiot. I sold. I thought we were going to crash. And see, all that money is going to come back in. And then we'll crash. And then they'll be left holding the bag because I'll be selling to them as they come back in the market. All right. That's enough of that. So, yeah, I'll just see your questions. The SQQ, SPXS, I think are obviously going to break the all-time lows. The best way for me to explain what's going to happen is look at SOXS, which did that. Remember the semiconductors, right? That really pumped, and everyone was trying to short. Well, there was a warning sign that the pump before it even happened. When we broke here, right? Remember we broke the all-time low. We broke it here, and then we had this rip back up. But I said once we had the technical break, it opened up the door for these lower prices. And that's what we got, right? We got these lower prices in this SOX, which means the semis kept pumping. That's what will happen in the SPXS and SQQ environment if that all-time low breaks. The same thing is going to happen. So let's just assume this isn't the count that I have here. And this pattern breaks down low, and if it does, it looks like we haven't broke it yet. But if we break this low right here at 1697, I think it's almost certain we'll break the low at 1565. And so what will happen? And again, I'll draw like a line here, and you'll do something like we'll come down, we'll break it, we'll come back up, and then down. So it's going to be a quick break. And then it'll be a market pullback, and then a capitulation into this area, just like we saw in the semiconductors. It'll be the same pattern, and then the market will find its peak, and this will find its bottom. And so the easiest way to find out the next buy area would be simply doing that extension. It'll be 1219. So if if this plays out, if we break this low, this will have to go to 12.19. This will be more upside for the market. Whether you think the market deserves to do it or not, or you're so smart and the interest rates are going to force a crash and all, it doesn't matter. The market's going to be, this is what's going to happen. It means too many people are bearish. And so this is what's going to play out. Now, it's still not, as long as that, now, I mean, we would need a massive pullback on Monday, but it looks to me that this is going to break. And once it does, I'm almost certain this will break. And then when that breaks, we'll pull through, we'll pull up, and bam, that's what will happen. That's the pattern. And then the SQQ is the same. It's the same idea. Here again, let's take a look at how we did. I think this did break the pivot. So if you were trading it, you would be stopped out here. Again, though, this was just a three-wave correction. It hit the sell area exactly and puked. Just so this was a trade. This was trades, and then it also hit the downtrend line and puked. So still bearish, but it's the same idea. It's if it looks like it's going to break the all-time low, if that breaks, that's almost certain going to open the door for more upside in the market, and that would be 1861. And then I would be looking to buy it again at 1861 right here. So that's how I would trade this. I wouldn't that's why I'm saying the triangle scenario in the indices has been invalidated in my opinion. There is no crash. It's going to be a squeeze and crash moment, and we still have more upside in the market. There's still more upside coming. Whether again, and I know it's hard for people to put their mind around it, and I'm going to get hate mail again, but I think this is how you trade it. And again, I mentioned that you got to be on both sides. Now, there is a tradable short here when we do break the all-time high. Because again, the market loves to do this. Boom, we break and then come back up and down. So you could look for a quick buy, a tradable, like, you know, we could try to find an entry on a short side or buy this somewhere in this area, this dip, and play that B, play this bounce back up. Perhaps even fill these gaps even for all we know. But I don't think it's going to go that high. But then I would sell it and look for that final push lower or move higher in the market. This is the most likely, and the SOXS shows you that this is how it would play out. Break, pump, crash. That's it. That's the setup. I would be looking for an SQQ, SPXS. And like I said, I think it's just all but inevitable this all-time low is going to break now. It's just all but inevitable, and that's just the way it goes. So that's the triple leverage funds. Yeah, I think SPY wants the 430s. You know, I think it's going to be tough to time. Like, I can't sit here and tell you how high it's going to squeeze. It can actually be something super euphoric, like we haven't seen. And one way to think about it is, guys, if this is the grand super cycle crash that I'm going to show here, if it's this, right, a grand super cycle crash, this leg, this bounce should represent everything about the bull market of the last 25, 30 years that we love the most. It should end with almost as much enthusiasm as we end it in this wave here, with, you know, the meme stocks and everyone getting rich, and like I say, $100,000 posts every 24 hour. Like, that's the type of thing you'll see on this leg, because this is the last great leg of the bull market. Because this is the first. This is your warning crash. This is your warning sign. Something's wrong. This is like good times are back again, and it should the enthusiasm should represent or at least match the most enthusiastic moments of the bull market we saw. So it will have elements of the dot-com bubble of 2017 and 2021 all mixed in. That's what we should see, and then we get this horrific crash where this should be even worse than 1929. That's how in terms of sentiment and impact. So that's how this should play out in terms of sentiment, enthusiasm, profits, despair. So this is the leg. This could be the last great leg of the bull market. that we know it right now, and we could be in the final leg of that leg. And if you remember trade in 17 on that final leg before we started that massive correction for year, where we were up and down, there was so much euphoria. I mean, you were printed money every day on the indices. It was crazy times. Calls were it was like just giving away money. This moment. See, look at this, guys. I think we could have a moment like this coming in the market, something freaking crazy like this. Just total euphoria, caution to the wind, YOLO, no, just craziness, and then the moment of truth, a massive drop. I mean, this this type of move is the blow off top. And again, this matches this leg matched the enthusiasm of the blow off top of the .com era, and then of course we had the same thing in later on. So these are how these moves end, and I believe the enthusiasm in this final move higher will be something like that, and then a massive crash. But I think we're just people starting to believe that this is real. It's over. I even have bears like, oh, if we break this high, the bear market's invalidated, go all in. I have even guys in Elliott waves, they're not recognizing this pattern that I'm showing. They're just thinking, okay, we break this high, we should be going to new highs. So I think that's how it's going to trap a lot of people. But Meta, let's see, Meta is again showing you the market is just not as bearish as we thought, and it's not ready to crash. So I had to rework this chart. So I'm looking at Meta now in a simple 5-wave move down in a connector here, and then a move higher in Y. I'm looking for 278, 277 to finish the move in Y. So something like that. So that's what I'm looking for. So we're in some kind of 3 at the moment, and then it should pull back. It has to pull back. If it can't pull back, the market, then I'm wrong. The bear market is over, because the market can't crash without these big caps all pulling back in unison. So and again, you would think this move has to correct at some point, right? At some point, people are going to want to take profit, and then when they do, that's when the market will make its next leg lower, right? At some point, this will happen. This move. But yeah, I'm looking now. Now it seems likely we'll fill the gap here. It just seems likely to me that gap will fill. So that's what I'm looking for, and we could come back and see, is this low going to hold? Will it break? We don't know. If it's the grand super cycle crash, the low will break. If it isn't, if it's just a correction to 300, an SPY 300, then this low should hold. And then this was a bottom, and it'll be like a 1 2 1 2 and out. So we'll see. Solana, hadn't looked at that. I did a Solana update earlier for someone many weeks ago. We'll see how it played out. Solana. Let's take a look. All right, so we were looking for that pullback into here, and we got it. 1 2 3 4. I think it's, you put that here. A B 1 2 3 4 5. It's probably like that. It's so since this is a flat, divergence is okay, and now we're moving higher. So I think this is the count. And again, look at the pattern. If you're a pattern trader, inverse head and shoulders, you're about to break out. It looks like left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and I think I talked about that, waiting for this right shoulder to play out. So this could be a good opportunity to go long if you manage your money right and look at it. It's just continuing. This is a 1 2 right there. So it's getting ready, I think, for a move higher. Out of whatever this is. There's no divergence yet. So something like that. I think that's pretty bullish. I don't think it's this because there's no divergence. I don't think it's this. But I guess you can't rule that out. And then a pullback to 22. But uh, I think it's set up for a breakout. And then Matic. I still was hoping, waiting for this dip into here. So you're on the downtrend line. You see this trend line? About to break it. I think you'll be wise to wait for this dip into 62 cents. It doesn't. This low broke. You see that? So yeah, chances are it's got a dip. It's got a dip coming. It's got a dip coming. It's got a dip. I think it's got something like that coming. Yeah, maybe you could put the X there. So yeah, because that low broke, I would say it's short. You want to stay on the short side of it. It looks like to me it needs to dip still. Um, DraftKings, yeah, DraftKings is it's kind of interesting. It trades with Russell and technology, and it's starting to move a little bit higher again. So you have to look at this as the corrective move finished here, and then you had a 1-2, 1-2, and now that you made a new high, it looks like, and now we know the Russell's going to pump soon. So this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, almost a 5. So could we still be in 2? It's possible. It's probably not likely. It's probably not likely. Yeah, my guess like that. And again, it's just a guess for me. Like that, and then out out of that. And that's earnings May 4th. So, I'd be careful going into earnings if we're here because you could get this pullback on earnings. If we're already trading on a pullback into earnings, then you could get a bounce out. So it's really a tricky trade to do. But I think, in my opinion, by higher high, higher high, higher high, we keep breaking. It seems like it's pushing out more and more of this, and it wants more upside. It wants more upside. That maybe it's like a double bottom pattern forming. There we go. That's something like that where you come up, you test it, you pull back, and then you break out. Something like that. That's probably how I would look at it for right now. Something like that. ING. Okay, let's take a look at ING. Looks like we got that 4 here. But actually, if you look, it's too big, too intense. So more than likely that ended that 5. Let's take a look at this. So that would be 3. And that would put a 4 here and a 5. Let's see how that plays out. Yeah, that's how I play it. Okay, so I think that's the count we're in right now, just like that, and I think we're in wave 2 of 5, and then it should make another high, and then a pullback. So it's going to be kind of choppy a little bit. Now it could always surprise and really pump out, and this becomes a 1-2, 1-2, and extends. So there's always that chance. So let's take a look if there's any dip buy area on this swing higher. So here, A, B, C. Yeah, it's an impulse with divergence. There's your leg. There's your connector. So this is an A and a B, and you're in some kind of connector wave right now. Uh, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B. Yeah, to me this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up with divergence. So my best guess on this right now, it's still in a correction, but I think it should bounce one more time and then come back down to finish this too. So I think I would be looking for a swing up in B. I have like an A, B, so within here, some kind of A, B, C, something like that maybe. That'd be the most likely path. I think that's unlikely, something like that, and then a drop here, and then out. That's kind of how I would look at it. Bowen, let's see. I just don't like that stock. I won't buy it. But I mean, I know traders like trading it, but I just don't like it. I was still looking for that B to push down to 185, but if the market is staying supported, that's not looking as likely as it could be. The B may be done here, and it just kind of ended short. But if you look here, it's 1, 2, it's only 3 up. You see that? So I'm still going to call it like this for now because that's 3 down. So I still think it's in an indecisive area at the moment. This is definitely not impulsive, this leg. So you really can't say that that's the bottom. So I would just I wouldn't trade it here. Uh, so I'm still thinking that may be the count. And then here you have 3, 3, and so we're gonna get a dip early next week in Bowen. It seems like. But this is a tradable area, 180, 582, 180s. So that is a tradable area. I think I'd be surprised if it stopped here. Honestly, I'd be surprised if that and then it kept going. It just doesn't look right to me. Obviously, it's got a bounce coming. The weekly stochastic is oversold, so it has energy to go higher. You see that weekly RSI? If you could see that break, if that weekly breaks up above the RSI, then you can go long because then that should push it up. It'll probably make a new high in price with divergence in the RSI, and this should push up. So keep an eye on that, but I bet you it's going to get rejected one more time on that line and pull back down where I've got this area, something like that. Okay, let's see. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's good. It was a tradable stock. One of the ones I took as a long position, and this was a classic 3-wave move pullback. And then we hit the buy area almost exactly to the dollar, bought it, and bounced. And I believe this is 5 waves up, this leg. So there's a good likelihood that we'll make another 5-leg move up higher. Again, this supports the view of the market, the pump, the squeeze coming. And we could push up to this 257, 260 area in this 3-wave leg. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this kind of move coming, and there's no reason to think it won't happen because we're 5 waves off the bottom. And the reason that's important is you can't, if it was 3 waves, a corrective moves in 3 waves. If it's 5, that means it has to be an A, B, C. We need the C leg. We need a 3-wave move. A corrective move has to be 3 in 3, not in 5. So that's the reason for the next move higher. and I do like that we bounced here. Now, if we were to fail, if this were to, let's say, move higher and fail, this would become a connector for this leg, and that would pretty much open up the door for $60 in Tesla. So this is kind of where, it's kind of where the bulls have to hold. They have to hold this 152 as we make in a connector, or we move this high, push this high up. So I think that's the pattern coming. And if we look here, how long did this move take? It went from January 5th to February 15th. That was like about a little over a month. And here it's like April 27th. So this should last into maybe the end of May, early June, before it peaks out. And again, Tesla can trade outside the market. We've seen that. Tesla can pump and the market can go down. So it does it. Tesla's its own beast. It does its own thing, and it can in some ways, I mean, it's correlated, but some ways it isn't too. So I would just say this is kind of the play that I'm playing, and the stop loss is at 152, and we'll just wait and see what happens. I'll just let the market take it from here. Even though I personally don't think people are buying electric vehicles, but I know people like to buy Tesla stock for whatever reason. There's so many traders that, I mean, that's all they trade is Tesla. They don't even look at other symbols, and so maybe it's just going to squeeze out of here, and people will FOMO in, regardless of the macro environment around electrical cars at the moment. People aren't buying cars as much as they were. The financing rates are higher, so on and so on. But the stock is a different animal. He also has Bitcoin on the balance sheet, right? Bitcoin could pump, and that can make the company more valuable, right? So that could factor in here. So it's also a play on Bitcoin if he keeps, if he doesn't sell it, of course. But so anyway, let's take a look. SYM. I don't know if that's a crypto or what, man. And okay, yeah, we have that already. We've already charted that. Okay, so we had it in this sell area, but see how it pulled through it? It could still be done in this move. We need to take a bigger look at the bigger picture. All right, so see how we broke that high? So I think now it's time just to end the discussion of the bear market continuing. So again, another symbol define where we need to go. So I think here we have to switch account based on the new data. We're still in this cycle, so this is just a 4-wave. I would expect to see that. So we broke the low, so that's a 5-wave move down. So the 4 is going to continue sideways for a little bit. So it's probably going to do something like something like that. All right, and then the next one, bros. I don't think we have that one. Dutch Brothers. Oh, looks like we charted it at one point. So we had this WX, put that there, and we're in Y. We're in 2. All right, so I'm looking for another low, and then that should be it. So we'll probably want to see that divergence erase. We need to see on the daily this push down and take out those peaks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B. So I would say more downsides coming. Like that. And this low should hold. We want this low at 1982 to hold. So I think this is the downside coming like that. So if you're trading it into earnings, I would be careful. because you may get that capitulation and then a bottom. Or if you trade now, if you're trading into earnings here for whatever reason, you could try to play that on the long side earnings and play this wave 3 coming out. This is kind of what I'm thinking with it. I do think it's more downside coming. Okay, One Harmony. Yeah, it went pretty deep here, you know, but it did eventually bounce in this area that we had. So I would say as long as it's yeah, massive capitulation. So as long as it stays above this low 1.4, it should continue higher. Now this looks like 3 waves up though. You see that? So that's no good. So could we still be in 2? It's possible. I don't like that we aren't 5 up. You see no divergence. So I would stay away on the short and long side of this. It's one of those indecisive counts at the moment, or the market hasn't decided, but it didn't. It's made, you know. So I would say it's still in the bear cycle. That. So be careful in it. If it were to do that, the buy area would be here. This would be your buy area. Right there, like at 121. And you know, if my gut tells me that this is what's going to happen, like I've got it here, based on the chart and not knowing much about it. Something like that. But again, since you're 5 off the low, you know, even if it does this, you know, you should still get another high at some point. But I just don't like this 3-wave move. I don't like the look of that. That's bearish. And then it corrected so deep here. So I think this is the setup. I think that's the setup. SOXL. Yeah, you know, I haven't looked at that in a while. It's definitely should be coming to the end soon. Again, Nvidia is way overdue for a pullback. AMD's already pulling back, but I think it's bouncing at the moment. So here you have 3 waves, X, right? And now we pulled back in 3, and then we found bidders. So it's really tough to say at the moment. X could very well could continue higher, right? We could be in some kind of you know, and that seems like where the market's going. So I would probably forecast this type of move. 3, 3. Yeah, it almost hit the buy area by a few pennies. So yeah, I think it's bullish above 1247. Perhaps it could go as high as 2465, 2751. The other and I do believe it's this. Like if you look here, you broke the cycle. The RSI broke the cycle. So yeah, I'm looking at this is the count as long as it's above 1271. And it probably makes sense because look, we should retrace more of this, right? This is a shallow. This would be a better retracement. You see this peak, so maybe we won't get. Maybe we get up to like 22. Maybe it you know, it does something like that. It matches that peak, and then you have this, you know, pattern. You know, I don't know. I would say bullish above 1255. Go long, but stop out right there. Stop out right there. If it I would stop out right there. Something like that. That's what's coming, in my opinion. AEHR is a buy right now. It finally, again, if you've been following me, I've been saying. Now I didn't buy it because I don't like to buy like things that I don't understand. I just don't understand its business and can't get behind what it does as a company. So I don't like owning it. So I'm not a buyer of it. But if I did believe in the company, this would be the area to do it. You see how you made a lower low here, so that 5 could be done right there. It hits. This is the buy area, guys. We had this on for weeks and weeks, right? I said this is what will play out. We would break this low. We broke the low. So to me, if you really believe in this company, this is the time to buy it. I personally don't believe in what it does. I don't even understand its business model and why it would be valued the way it is. So to me, I just can't get behind it. But it seems pretty bullish. So do what's best for you. But just looking at the technicals, I would be pulling the trigger on it here, and starting to buy, and then that's what I would be doing in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Okay. UNG, yeah, natural gas is real tough, man. It's just brutal, which is why I'm just gonna trade other things. I'm not really worried. I know at some point that is gonna pump, um, like no one's business. I just think it's there's too many people looking for a bottom on it, and they're just squeezing each other. But if we look at UNG, it did find a low in our buy area here in the 5. This is where I said it could end, right? So, I mean, maybe it's done. Maybe natural gas did find the bottom, or UNG did at least. We'll see. I mean, this is 3 waves, so this means this could have a major bounce coming, a major pump coming in UNG, as long as this level holds at 666. I guess that's a pretty unlucky pivot, but I mean, this is. Yeah, so if it loses 628, then this is just 1, 2, and then it's going to go much lower. So I think it's kind of like, you know, it's tough to say. I mean, this to trade it, you could go long with the stop at the 666, or you wait for more confirmation that it's bullish. Like you get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then when it pulls back, you buy it then. And then you buy that on that pullback, you get more confirmation. But this is tough because if we break 629, then we're still in wave 5, and this is just 1, 2, and then you'll get 3, 4, 5. You'll probably come down to the low 4s, high $3 area. URNM. Is that like a uranium play? Yeah, I'm in one of these. I'm in URA. So I was saying, you guys, these were gonna pump. Like, I mean, this was nice, right? Nice gains. These have more beta in it, like the UUUU. Um, you know, but I think what I don't like about this pattern is 3-wave here. I hate that look. So again, I'm not. I gotta be. I would still be cautious in it, but I mean, this same chart is the mirror image of a lot of these other symbols. So I mean, you got this consolidation, but you got this massive area of support that really needs to hold here. And as long as that holds, it's bullish. If that breaks down, then this will have a catastrophic drop. If I look at this, I mean, if you look, it just seems to me like that's some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have some kind of like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then you pull back in some kind of ABC here. So as long as that low holds at 27, you're good. So that's why it's like a low risk, high reward, because your stop loss would be at 27, and then you just kind of play that, you play that, and then this looks like 5 up too, right? And then down. So and then here this looks like an A three-wave move down. We held that low. So that's why I'm in it. This is the same, but I wish this was 5 up, but it isn't. So I don't know. I'm just going to stay in it, but if the stop loss, I'll stop out like in my URA, I'll stop out at 18.28. Here I would say stop loss at 28 bucks, and then just play it long side and see if this can morph into something. Because if it can, it's going to explode out of here. There'll be some massive gains in uranium if it can explode out of this. So I would just, you're gonna have to have patience, and you're gonna have to have a stop, because if this support breaks, it's just gonna puke. It's gonna, puke downward. So that's what I would look at. I don't use the dark pool data. I don't really play with that. Yeah, I mean, it may not get to 430. Every day you look at different data, and then you assess, right? You assess it. Right now, I just worry about tomorrow, and I think the market still has more upside, really, until the dollar's finished dropping, and Tesla meets it bounces and breaks that high in the ABC. I can't see the market ready to drop. So, I'm just gonna kind of still play the dips and play the long side until I start seeing some more breakdowns in the market on the mega cap side, which we haven't seen yet. They're all breaking up, right? They're surprising to the upside. They're not surprising to the downside. So I'll just kind of hang tight and trade what the market's giving me at the moment, and then wherever we get to, we get to. Yeah, Amazon I think is still got more upside, but I do think again it's I'm looking for that 130 level here. So something like that. So that's what I'm looking for in Amazon. So Amazon's a long play. If you've like missed some upside, especially if it pulls back one more late, like if you can get Amazon at 100, that would be ideal, but it may already be done here. So it's tough to say. I'm not saying it's going to 100. I think if anything, it's going to push higher and finish this move that I have here. Yeah, Coinbase is really lagging, and in fact, there's a lot of FUD on Coinbase these days. I mean, if I just look at the chart, this low should break, and wow, look at that. Yeah, I think my guess on Coinbase again is some kind of 48.78, $40 this area. It's almost, it looks like it may almost be done like that. All right, so something. So anyway, that's how I think Coinbase looks. Something like that. FCXS has been struggling, and that's the only bad trade. That sector hasn't been working out. That was a bad trade that I'll look to get rid of once it bounces. I don't know why it's so weak at the moment, but I think it's this bigger correction it's in. So I think that's uh, um, here's like looks like to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and an A, right? And a 1, 2, 3 B, and we're in some kind of C. That's how I look at it. And I think right now we're probably still in this two wave of some kind. Maybe it does that. So maybe you get something like this. That's what I'm saying. Like this sector should bounce as the market bounces again, like I was showing you, and then this will be new lows in the market. So I think, yeah, I'm looking to leave this sector and not trade it. But I do think this bounce should happen across the sector to get people out of their trades if they're long. I'm looking for that. I don't think we're just going to break down. Now, I mean, it's possible, and then I'll have to take the loss. But I mean, it is what it is. It's just no follow through. But I think this maybe is obviously the financial regional banks are weak, but these are kind of weak too. This sector. So we'll just keep an eye on it. But I think it's going to make another. I mean, I think it's coming down to these areas. Um, so is a Tesla pullback? It would. I think it's only likely as if the market surprises with another leg lower to the downside. Uh, that would make it. But I think Tesla's forming a connector now because of the bounce and the way the RSI has been reset. So it'd actually be technically catastrophic to break that low. So for the stock itself, it would actually open the door, like I said, to $60 Tesla in the next 6 months. It would be a very bearish sign, and that would be like a breakdown. That's what I'm looking for to know, is the market ready to break down? Like that would be a technical breakdown. We haven't had technical breakdown in any mega cap yet. Everything has been moving higher, surprising to the upside. So I would just say keep an eye on it, but as long as it's above that 152, I'm not too concerned about Tesla breaking the low. But if it does break it, then I think it's in a bad position. It's in a very bad position, and it may indicate that the market is ready to turn itself much sooner than we think as well. But I think Tesla, the lows, it's not likely to break 152, given that it's 5 waves up from the 100 level. It needs another 5 up with a new high over the previous peak. So and again, I'm just pure technicals, not anything about the business. Any setups? I think Cliff is due for a bounce like here, like the Cliff trades with this one. So I think you see that. I think that's going to happen, and then I think it would be time to leave that trade. I think it's a trade, but I do think it's due for that kind of bounce at any moment, because it's you see this leg and Cliff here. This should retrace, so I do think it's got to bounce. This this 3-wave move should retrace. There. So and now of course I'm gonna dump it when I get this. This is not good. It's not good long. So, but is it a setup? Yeah, it's definitely a setup. Uh, I saw Snap was like crashing or something, and I mean, yeah, as long as this low holds here at 809, it is a trade. I mean, it looks like to me, it's a massive flat though that hasn't finished this sequence. So actually, I would be really careful in it. Um, I wouldn't trade it. I mean, because it seems like it's going to break this low, given it's a flat, and then I would just relabel this a little differently. I would say like that. Yeah, maybe I take that back. It's not a flat. Yeah, so I'm thinking, yeah, A, B. Something like that. So yeah, I think it could be a setup if again if you want to try to play that, um, as long as 732 holds. If 732 breaks, this could become a go to zero stock, guys. Uh-oh. Because this is a connector for this entire swing down. So it really needs to hold that. Now it could also play like this type of game where it goes like A, you know, breaks the low, comes back, and then goes to zero. It could do, it could do really crazy things, but it would be, I think, a technical, crisis for the stock to break 731. So it's really the last, again, low risk, high reward. If you've been waiting to buy this, this is where I would do it. I mean, I guess the revenue was down. I mean, I don't know. They'll they've always, get beat up and then they somehow find a way to recover. So I don't know. Maybe they'll find another way. Um, so we'll see. And let's take a look at cold. I wouldn't mess with cold. I wouldn't. I'm not. I don't trade natural gas. It just sucks unless it's like an obvious setup. And then Uber. Yeah, Uber was like. Let me go to Uber. It's getting more bullish. It's like trying to find its footing after its IPO. So it came down in this kind of move. That's five, right? One, two, three, four, five, three, three, three. Huh. So again, this is just three up. So the problem with Uber is it's just three up, right? Actually, probably this would be the better way to do it. It's just kind of three up. So that's a problem. That's a big problem. And this is five down, right? From that three up, right? I mean, one, two, three, four, five. So it's bearish. This was just a connector for this move. Um, it's due for a bounce. Was it's five down? They've already had it. When's earnings? Earnings. Okay. So I would say red alert for Uber's earnings could be a massive drop. I'm just, and again, I don't know why. I mean, who knows? But I would be really careful in the earnings. What I'm seeing is a connector. I'm actually seeing five waves down here. right? And and actually there's no RSI divergence, so this is a 1-2, 1-2. Yeah, I would say be really careful in Uber if you're long. Short, maybe you could try that, but again, it's gambling. It's a lot of risk in that, but I'm giving you my interpretation. Do what's best for you on Uber, but this is, I'm just again, I'm just looking at the data. I don't really see five waves up here, and all I see coming down is five waves. So now it could also do on earnings where we're still in two at that, and then drop later. So just don't know, but yeah, I would just say for now this is kind of the pattern, and will it break 19? Maybe it'll come back down and break it. If it were to break it, we're looking for 15. And that would break this low. And then if it breaks that low, then it would be a technical catastrophe again for Uber. Again, I don't know why this would be the case. I don't know anything about its business. It's why this could happen, but this again is what the chart is showing me at the moment. You have a connector, so to invalidate this bearish view, we need to take this high out at 37. If we can do that, then it would it would change everything. All right, so about an hour in, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna just look through the comments real quick and see if there's anything I can answer. Let's see here. Okay, so I think on Bitcoin, if the market's going to go higher and the dollar lower, Bitcoin should surprise people to the upside. That would mean all the crypto stocks, Riot, MicroStrategy, all that should go higher. Um, I think Bitcoin, you know, will it drop with a catastrophic drop higher? Will Bitcoin drop? I don't. It's really about the dollar because Bitcoin is valued in dollars, and if the value of our dollar, our currency weakens, then Bitcoin will rise. So like a scenario would be a hyperstagflation collapse in stocks, where you get essentially hyperinflation, where massive stock market crash with certain stocks going to the moon because it's hyperinflation, but then the dollar collapses and then gold and Bitcoin go to the moon. Like it just depends on the nature of the crisis, or if it's a government default, right? If a government defaults on its debt because of a debt ceiling accident, I could see interest rates spiking, the value of the dollar plummeting, Bitcoin and gold going parabolic. So, and then stocks obviously crashing. So I think like it just depends on the type of scenario. But the charts right now are bullish until proven otherwise. Although, I would say the thing with Bitcoin is where I'm gonna get to find it here. The thing with Bitcoin is if it can move and break this high at 31, it will, to me, signal that the bear market is over technically, even if it pulls back later. But right now, it's still, the market hasn't figured out. I'm hoping for this and then out the play along. This could happen if the market continues higher and the dollar's going lower. So I don't know. It's tough to say, but I think technically it's the Bitcoin hasn't is deciding right now. But if we could push higher and break both of 31,000, then I think it's safe to say the talk of the bear market coming back in Bitcoin is probably over, and we're going just higher. And this was a major low at 15,000. So I think it's and I think that's the message that this is trying to send, which we don't know the answer to yet. Neo entry is close. I mean, you could probably buy it here if you're a long-term investor for Neo. Energy is a tough trade. I was looking at XLE today and trying to take another look at that chart because it's playing out more bullish. You're seeing ExxonMobil and stuff really bounce, and you're seeing a lot of RSI resets. So I've updated my XLE chart. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then A, B, C, and we hit my level. So I actually like this because it actually matches where I would have bought in, where it bottoms. Then like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another 1. So you have a 1, 2, 1, and then you have a nice three-wave move here for 2, and then you have a 1, 2. And this is where I picked it up for a scalp. But if you also look at the pattern, this is like the extension, and then this is some kind of ascending triangle looking thing that's about to break out. So the length of this leg should equal the length of the breakout to bring it to 125, 130. So I think I want to go with this more bullish count in energy at the moment. And I think until we have a failure of these pivots, which haven't failed here, it's held, it held, it held. If it keeps holding, this should just keep going higher. So it's a very interesting moment, and we did bounce nicely. And so, I thought we were more into like a wave 5 top in energy. We may not be. We may not be. I may be too bearish. This is the more bullish look, and I think this is probably more accurate than what I had for the energy sector. And it may make sense because if energy is going to pump, that means interest rates will pump. That means inflation is going to pump. That means oil is going to be super expensive. People are going to be so mad. Gas prices are so high, and the market may crash, right? The stock market may go down, but hey, this sector may continue to go, higher in face of that, which it did, which is what it did all in 21, 22 as the market was correcting. So this may show. Like this may be a way to, get some upside in a downside market. Because really, energy is what, like they said, something like a small percentage, a sliver of the SPY. It's like such a like energy could go parabolic, but the indices won't move, right? So this is such just something to keep in mind. But this is what I'm looking at right now. I did SQQ earlier in my session, so you can go back and look at that. Tesla I did earlier. You can go back and look at that. I would say Zoom video. I'll end with Zoom video, and it's been weak. It's been really weak. It's still in this accumulation area, but we're still probably in this wave 5, unfortunately. So my guess is this wave 5 has to play out more. So it's just going to go lower. And it's a sad thing is because Zoom needs to reinvent itself. But that's what happens when they make a lot of money. The founders, they get comfortable. They're all rich, and they gotta continue to innovate to get this thing going again, do something else. But it's probably going to push down into this $40 area at some point. I mean, this is a massive technical breakdown. I mean, what a massive pump and dump pattern. Yeah, see, bankrupt. I mean, technically, if I just use my system, this is a go to zero chart. I hate to say it, but I don't think Zoom's going to go to zero unless, again, financially, do they have too much debt? can they roll over their bond, their corporate bonds? Is it like is there other problems underneath the hood? But the chart's the chart, so we'll continue to grind lower. So that's the Zoom video. JD $25. JD's $25. That's a nice tradable low, and I'm hoping we get $25 right there. It's a tradable bottom. I want to see that hit that area, so I'm just being patient. All right, guys, that's it. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll say that, yeah, I still believe in squeeze and crash playing out, squeeze and crash, and we'll just continue to see that. But I do, there'll be pullbacks along the way, of course, and I believe surprises will be, more upside than we think, and then yeah, there'll be a massive news event that will be so obvious to everyone, like COVID, that everyone will sell and get out and won't want any stock that they own anymore. And that's what we're waiting for, but we haven't had that moment yet in the market, that type of fear. But that fear is coming. Something really, really bad is about to happen sometime in the summer, May, at mid-May, end of May, maybe June at the latest. And what's coming around that time? Debt ceiling, right? I heard X day in the debt ceiling isn't August, it's June because the tax receipts are down. What if they screwed up the math and found out it's May? What if they screw up the math and we wake up one day and go, shit, we're out of money, and we effed up our accounting, and the guys in the back, the bureaucracy made a mistake. We don't actually have any money right now. Our bad. And then all hell breaks loose and no one has any warning. So I think that's I call that the debt ceiling accident. The accident. So I think that seems to be the scenario that's going to drive the market lower, where we have a debt ceiling crisis of our own making, and then we have to handle it. And if we don't handle it, then we get the grand super cycle crash, and rates will go to 10%, like I have 2-year to 8-9%, and it'll be like a calamity like we've never seen before. That would definitely be a crash, worse than the Great Depression. It would be something. It would be a sight to behold. United States defaulting on its debt. It would create. I don't think they'd be able to open the financial markets, to be honest with you, if it happens. But eventually they would. They couldn't keep them shut down too long. So I think that's the timing of where we are, and the news event on the horizon seems to me that looks obvious. But who knows? There could be something no one else knows about. Another bank that is too important and they let fail, or who knows. But anyway, we'll see. We got an interesting